Well, good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. My voice hasn't waking up this morning. Oh my goodness, my voice don't want to wake up for me this morning. Must be Friday. Must be Friday. Black conversations. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, and we're waiting on you to give us a call. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We want to talk about everything that's going on in and around your community and community. I need to get myself something to drink this morning. Community and communities. We want to talk about everything that's going on in and around your community and communities, and you could be a great part of it. All you have to do is give us a call. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Phone lines are wide open. That's your number right there. I wanted to make sure I had that number available for you. Again, 678-381-1973. I ran across a clip actually this morning, and I'm late because I looked at that clip. I know about 8 to 10 times, and the clip was amazing. I'm seeking. I pulled it up before the broadcast is over and play it for you. But the clip was absolutely amazing. What it was, there was an escape convict. There was an escape convict, and they had the police the road. How the police block the roads off, check all the vehicles that's coming through to make sure that he's not in the car. Well, this one man pulled up to the police officer. There was a police officer on one side of the car and another police officer sitting on the other side of the car, just standing there, patrolling. The one that went up to the one that said, "Hello, how you doing today, sir?" The guy wouldn't even look at the man. He was looking straight ahead. And it was a middle-aged Caucasian brother. He was looking straight ahead. And the cop said, "Can I see your driver's license and registration?" The man, he got the driver's license and registration, handed it to the police officer, didn't even look at him. He said, "Well, we're out here today. We're looking for an escaped convict. You haven't seen anybody like that, have you?" And the man said, "No, no, I haven't seen anybody." Good morning. I'm gonna get back to my story, but hold on, let me address my brother. Just came into the room, Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family. Can you hear me, Raheem?
Man, hear you loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear.
Excellent. Excellent.
You're coming through like that rooster in the morning. That rooster gonna wake up every morning, gonna get you up. But sometimes it seems like we wake the rooster up. We get up so early in the morning, but hey, that's what it is. Sometimes we wake the rooster, we go in and kick the rooster because he's still. But I'm sharing a story this morning, and did you hear any of it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'm gonna start off from the beginning. People that heard it from the beginning, y'all gonna get a repeat. Okay, it was a clip that came to me this morning, and I was looking at the clip, and it was a escape convict. You know how the police officers they do roadblocks, check all the cars that come by, and this one car pulled up. Caucasian gentleman, he pulled up, and the police officer was on one side, and the other police officer on the other side. Just looking through the car, or whatever. And he said, driver license, registration, regular thing. The man didn't even look at the police officer; he handed it to him, and police officer looked at the stuff and everything. He said, "Listen, we're out here looking for some escaped convicts. You haven't seen anybody like that, have you?" The man still didn't look at the police officer, looking straight ahead and said, "No, no, sir." And then he said, police officer said, "Where are you coming from?" And the man said, "I'm coming from the daycare. Coming from the daycare." Police officer looked through the car and he noticed there's a car seat with big kid toys in the back seat, but there's no child. And the police officer, he becomes a little, "Oh, okay, this is not right. I ain't right with this." He said, "Pop your trunk for me." The man shook his head. No, he shook his head. He didn't say no, but he shook his head. And the police officer looked at him and he pointed. He said, "Are they in your?" He didn't say it out loud, but he said, "Are they in your trunk?" The man said yes. The man shook his head yes. And the police officer gave back his license registration and said, "Okay, sir, have a great day. Have a great day." And the man drove off. got to the man's house inside the man's garage. He went back to the trunk, Leonard, and he opened the trunk. And the man, the escaped convict, had a gun to his little girl's head, man. Girl about 2 or 3 years old, man, had a gun to her head in the back of the trunk, balled up, and had the gun right to her head. And the man opened the trunk. He said, "Listen, I did what you wanted me to do. Give me back my daughter." He said, "Here, you can take my car." The convict took the keys and let the daughter go. And the man grabbed his daughter and went to the side. And soon the convict got out the car. The police came. The police was right there. Say, "Put your hands up. Put your hands up." So he dropped his weapon, and they put the cuffs on him. That story was so amazing to me, Leonard, because it made me think. And that's what we're gonna go right now. How many ways can you rob a person? How many ways could you rob a person without taking money or money? Most people think when you're robbing, you're taking money or a car or something like that. But how many other ways can you rob? Because that convict could have robbed this man and the daughter of having an experience of living life together. Man, he could have absolutely robbed them, Leonard. So, and I know with your background, brother, you can go deep into this thing. We'll stop talking and let you talk. So how many ways could you rob a person?
Was that a real story?
It was a video clip that I saw. It might have been, they might have. I'm gonna actually play it. I emailed it to myself, so I'm gonna try to play it before the broadcast so everybody can see it too. Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, if it was, man, Leonard, that it broke my heart, man. I was almost in tears. I watched it about 10 times, man. I looked at that clip about 10 times.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I'm a sucker for happy endings, bro.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
I'm a sucker for happy endings.
Don't be a sucker, Raheem. That's the nicest way I can put it.
Okay.
Don't be a sucker. But it's a lot of people doing a lot of horrible things like that.
Yeah.
And when you hear about them, because one of the particular things that I work with another activist on, and she does a lot with missing children.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times she also shares those incidents where people hurt their children and all these different types of things. And people have to realize I'm not a person that laments over certain things. However, who is that child's mother? Who is that? Who is the mother of the person that did something so horrible? Why is that person doing that? Why was that person's chosen and his daughter chosen? For what? How did that occur?
Well, I think to answer that question from what I'm sitting and from what I saw, I think he could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was just that vehicle that came through, and they in their attempt, in the guy's attempt to get away, he picked whoever he could pick, and then when he saw that there was a child in the car, he used that child as a hostage to try to make the father what it was that he wanted. He wanted to happen. So I don't think it was anything that was done wrong on their and I don't think that's what you're saying either. But I don't think that anything was done wrong. It would just have to be at the wrong place at the wrong time,
Because my comments are usually around how do we be careful and how do we avoid such a situation. I particularly understand how that parent felt.
Yes.
To be so helpless.
Yes. Wow.
And not wanting to be in that situation. And
can we stay right there for a second, Leonard? We got a caller. We're gonna go to the caller as well. But can you understand just that father, man, knowing that this person has a gun to my child's head in the trunk? I can't do nothing, man. How helpless could he feel at that moment, man?
And we have to consider there's a lot that happened before that child wound up in that trunk, and how an adult was able to get into a trunk with a child at gunpoint
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
I think it was just a desperate individual, man, trying to get away.
Right, the trunk had to be open.
Mm-hmm.
The child had to be out of your reach.
Mm-hmm.
All types of things had to happen before that.
Yeah, and see that's the part where I say where I go back to the desperation part, because and the desperation part is on the convict's behalf, because he's just trying to get away. Now with him having a gun, and now the father know that, okay, you have this gun, and it's actually, it only take, what they say, 10 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And if you pull that trigger, you could kill my daughter. What am I going to do? Am I going to take a chance, try to play superhero and let you shoot and kill my daughter? Or am I going to comply to what you say at that particular time and do? And I think he was really a hero in how he handled the situation, and when the police officers was involved. He didn't.
Yeah, it was a decent outcome.
Yeah, it
was a
was.
great outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't particularly have a lot of feelings as it relates to things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can remember how protective I was
Mm-hmm.
when my children were little, because I don't trust anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially around my kids, man. That's a
I mean,
whole
my child was always within arm's reach of me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one, I always had a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what it speaks.
You're walking around with a gun and a knife in your pocket all the time, man.
I got here. It is. Well, you can't see it, but it's right here. I mean, it's my tool. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's so sad in this day and age where people do things like that. And, you know, we have to be prepared for things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you have to be scared,
but
we have to do more to be prepared.
I want to go to the call as well. I want to get the call involved in the conversation, but I don't know how he could have been prepared, because the only thing he did, Leonard, was go to the daycare, pick up his child, and he's probably on his way home after the day. So I don't know what he could have done.
Right.
You know that some situations like that, I don't know.
Right, because sometimes you're helpless.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're helpless.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think anybody wants that feeling.
No, not at all.
You know, so one, it was always, you know, a common with me and my wife. I'll always say, I have secured the package.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or if I'm going somewhere or whatever, we have a system of one up, one down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going here to get this A, B, C, or D. I'm there. I'm on my way back.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So it's different things that we have to do in such a world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be cautious of those things, because one, these people will take advantage of you like this.
Exactly. We got two calls on the line. Now let me go to the call. Give me 1 second, brother. And yeah, this gonna be good today. We got a call from the 301 area code. 301 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, dear people. How's everybody doing?
Hey, Minister Neil.
Yeah, man, calling in to tell you what I'm on.
Well, your money. Man, look at the mailman. The mailman done got you again.
Nobody's got no mailman. Look here. You can cash out me, bro.
No, I don't do that modern technology stuff, man. I do snail mail. I put it to the mail. I gave it to the mailman, and the mailman I put that little red flag on the side of my mailbox. I put it up so I know the mailman got it.
Well, he must have took off.
Yeah.
But I ain't got it yet, so.
Man, listen.
I called to complain.
I'm going.
Hang the phone up. He ain't paying you. Get off the phone. We are now telling him we're in a revolt. We are now getting off this phone. Get off this phone with this man.
Look at, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That I'm putting in a petition because they took your $2.50. Took your money.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Hey,
I feel a little light.
There you go. Hey, you heard that story this morning, man. What is on your heart behind that story?
It's the decision has to be made, and understand it. You have to be prepared. I mean, a lot, but people don't understand it. the people are not, they are not devils. They're not the devil, but they have a lot of devilish ways, evil ways.
But how do you prepare? Because what only thing he did was in his case,
we have surround our kids.
Only thing he did, man. Only thing he did was he went to the daycare to pick up his child, probably after working, and he's on his way home. And this escaped convict took his daughter hostage, got in the trunk with a gun, and only thing I guess that he gave him demands to get me through this situation, or your daughter's dead. And so how do you prepare for that? Huh?
I mean, you can't. I mean, because that's a unique circumstance.
Yeah.
And like that happened. I'm gonna say yearly. I'm not gonna say anything here, but sometimes it might happen for a century.
You're breaking up just a little bit on me.
I said, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I said it's a very, no one can actually prepare for that. But again, like alluded to what Leonard was saying, that you have to be prepared. And what I mean prepared means that you have to have your senses up to a point that you're aware of your surroundings. And I know sometimes we get relaxed. I mean, we all do it. Because I do. And I'm by myself a lot. So I can honestly say that sometimes I get relaxed and I'm so used to going to certain places. I give you a prime example. I'm going to the barber shop. There's been times where I go to the barber shop in Atlanta, it's not a pretty rough area. But I'm aware, but then I'm not aware because I'm here I am at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to the barber shop. I think too much is going to happen. But the week before I went home, a guy got stabbed 9 o'clock in the morning.
Good Lord.
I had just walked out. I literally had just walked out. I literally had just walked past and like, hey, what's up, bro? And walked in the barber shop. And I say about 20 minutes later, I'm in the chair. I see the guy running across. We see the guy running across the barber shop, and he's running and not knowing what happened, and to find out the guy who was standing beside him stabbed him.
Wow. And see, and situations like that, man, you can't prepare yourself. I'm gonna play this clip. I got the clip pulled up. I'm gonna play the clip so we all can hear it and everything. And then we're gonna go. We got another call. We'll get to that call as well. But I definitely want to play this clip. We got another call just calling. Let me get all my callers in. Callers, hold on for 1 second. We're gonna play this clip. I want you all to hear this clip, and we're gonna comment on it. This is the clip right here, y'all.
Okay there, Mr. Bernstein? Yeah. Yes. Where are you coming from today? Preschool. We're looking for some men who escaped from prison. We haven't seen anyone like that, have you? No, sir. Stop the drunk for me? One more time. Need you now. By my side. Thank you for your cooperation. Have a nice day. Do what you want to. You can move my car. You can take my car.
Okay, and what it was, I'm trying to pull up on the screen here, but for whatever reason, it wouldn't play on the screen this morning. But what happened in that, and I'm gonna break it down. He was on his way. He was on his way home. He had just picked up his daughter from daycare. You can see the car seat, the empty car seat, and the children's toy in the back seat. Some escaped convicts had apprehended him and his daughter. And the convict was in the trunk with his daughter. His daughter had to be about 3 or 4 years old, if that, with a gun. And he went past the checkpoint, and that's what the conversation you heard between him and the police officer, asking for his license, registration, and then told the police officer told him that he was actually they're trying to find a escape convict. Have you seen it? And the man wouldn't even look at the police officer. He said, no, sir. And then he said, police officer said, can you pop your trunk? Can you pop your trunk? And the man shook his head, no. He shook his head, no. And you can see the desperation. That's why I wanted y'all to see it. You can see the desperation in this man's eyes when he shook his head, no. And the police started whispering, just moving his lip, asking him and pointing, are they in the trunk? And the man shook his head, yeah. The police officer said, gave him stuff back, said, have a nice day. Started to serve you, have a nice day, whatever the verbiage was, and he left. And then when he finally got home, opened the trunk, the convict was there with the gun to the little girl's head. And he said, look, I've done what you wanted me to do. Give me my daughter, and you can take my car. He gave me the keys, gave me the daughter, and walked away. And soon the convict got out the car. That's when the police officers came, about 5 or 6 of them came up with the gun and said, get on the ground, drop your weapon. Drop your weapon. Curtis, good morning, Curtis. How you doing this morning?
Oh man, I'm all right. What's going on with you?
Hey, we asking a question, man. How many ways? I'm doing good. We asking a question, man. How many ways could a person get robbed? Because that man could have very well been, and his daughter could have been robbed of the experience of living life together. Because this guy was so desperate that he wanted to get away, and he took them in a situation that they were not prepared for. Curtis, what do you hear in that clip?
So what you say? How many ways he could what?
How many ways could a person be robbed outside of like money and stuff like that? How many ways could a person be robbed? What did you hear in that clip, Curtis?
Oh man. Man, you know what? You made me think about that 50 Cent song. What was it? Years ago. That song was about 20 years ago. How to Rob a Henry Street Cat. And he tell you like 50 different ways that you rob an industry cat, man. We get robbed every day, man. We getting robbed right now. We talking. Somebody's robbing us right now. They are robbing us in spirit, robbing us financially. And some people get robbed physically. Some people, we call it abuse. When you look at it, it's just a form of robbery. And some of us are even robbing ourselves.
Wow.
We're robbing ourselves.
Wow. Okay. Good deal. Donald Tucson. Mute your line there, Curtis. Donald Tucson. Donald Tucson, good morning. How you doing this morning, sir? Donald Tucson, you there?
Yeah,
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. What did you hear in that clip, Donald?
I really couldn't get much of it, but I see what you're saying. I mean, I heard what you're saying.
How vulnerable would you feel in a situation like that? How vulnerable would you feel?
Say one more. I have to take my chances myself. If you're in the trunk, I try to figure out how to get myself out of the situation. Let's see. How fast I can get out the car. Well, you got my daughter.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Problem. Yeah. He got the daughter at gunpoint.
That's the catcher right there. That would be the catcher. I think the guy did pretty good. I think he did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, see, he tried to preserve stuff. And you're gonna take my car. Let him have the car. Let him have it. Or you gonna take my money. You can get some more money.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you can have the wallet with the cards on it. Some of them ain't got nothing on it anyway. So, okay.
You ain't gonna be getting nothing but practice. You'll get practice on how to use the card because you ain't getting none of all these here. But go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, we ain't got the pin number. If you did, you anyway. But yeah, I think he did the best thing he could do in the situation because he got his daughter. That's the main thing. If you got his daughter, then he did the right thing when he cued the police officer and then took the man where he needed to go to get, you know what I'm saying. But we, like the Curtis, we were being robbed right now. And I'm kind of like Minister.
Mr. Neal?
I'm looking for. Yeah, Mr. Neal. Where my money at, man? But can me, have me some money, man.
Hey, I don't use Cash App, but what I do, man, is I send it through the mail, and and I think the mail, a mail person been real slow this month, man. I think it's something with the mail, and
What's wrong?
Yeah, I think it's something with the mail. I really do. It's something with the mail, man.
And most of the time, when it's your time to give the money, we don't have no problem giving it. But when the tables turn and it's time for them to send you something, it's always a process.
You get them dinosaur arms then, huh?
I feel robbed.
You get when it's time to give, you get them dinosaur arms. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Now, I'm listening to different responses because I think what you hit on is that vulnerability. And, a lot of people get taken advantage of because of their vulnerability. Like Minister Neal was saying. I guess it's because of where I'm from. But it's sad that I'm always cautious of like people close enough to touch me.
Yeah.
Or like, say, for instance, I wouldn't usually, before I left home, I had some different things about me that were a little bit different, I would say. Like, say, for instance, shaking strangers' hands. Before I left home and went to the military, I very rarely would shake a stranger's hand.
Okay.
And things of that nature because of the fact that I'm always preoccupied with someone doing me harm. And I'm not sure if it comes from being so small when I was growing up, or is it just because of the things that I've been through and the people I've been around that my own self-defense was very important.
Yeah.
And when I became a father, it got worse. Because I was so protective. And I have that type of mind that thinks about 100 scenarios at one time. So like with Minister Neal's situation, if I'm going to the barber shop, I usually will have my hands in my pockets prior to entering the barber shop.
You say you do or you don't?
I do.
Okay.
And usually my hand is on my knife. Because when I'm around people that I don't trust, I'm on guard. I don't like for people to walk up on me suddenly or anything like that either. So, I've had to, to adjust to know when people were playing, I guess you would say. You know how you kids play, you play around a lot?
Yeah.
If you play around with me like that, I'm fighting you.
So you might get cut.
Exactly. So I'm not very rough with people. I don't intrude on I try not to intrude on people's space or anything like that. Because I don't want it done to me. I don't want you close enough to grab my child. Like when I would walk with my son downtown, I always held his hand.
Yeah.
I always kept him close because I was downtown. Anything could happen.
At the blink of an eye.
At the blink of an eye, like riding the train. And I remember one time when my brother came and he was working somewhere, and I would go to see him, and a person would say, "Who is that dude sitting in the car looking like the police?" And my brother said, "That's my brother."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just so have so much anxiety around certain people and things.
Wow.
That makes me become overcautious. So I've had to work on that a lot. And, when I hear a story like this, I was like, I don't know what would happen. What would I do if that happened to me? Because I'm not going to take that very well.
Now, let me ask you this question. I'm going to go to Minister Neal after I talk to you. If we painted a scenario, hopefully something like that never happened, but if it did happen and you found yourself in that situation, Leonard, would you feel helpless?
Yes, to a point I would. I would feel very helpless, and that's what would flip the switch. Because at that point, I know I have no problem dying today. And then I'm just going to go into that mode until it's over. And what has ever happened at the end has happened.
But see, the only thing about that is like Donald said, man, you have to take into account that this man, this individual has your child in the back of the trunk with a gun to the head. It only take a second to pull that trigger. And so every action that you have could contribute to your child getting shot. And so you have to be mindful, you really.
Right. And and that's why with a lot of these issues today, if something happened to my child because of that, you would not be safe. Your family would not be safe or anything.
Wow. Okay.
It's going to start a chain of events that you're going to really regret just as much as that feeling that I have that you put into me. I'm going to multiply it for you. Like, that's why I'm so crazy about the domestic violence thing and abuse, because one, I'm triggered in those situations to fight for my life.
Yeah.
And it's to kill you. It's not going to be any other focus whatsoever. You are the threat. And my mind is going to go into neutralizing that threat.
Exactly. And I understand what you're saying, but like I said, my thing is, I would be in a situation where every thought that I had at that moment would be to save my child.
And see, that wouldn't be my every thought.
Yeah. See, it would have nothing to do with me. Whatever you do to me, that's fine. But I have to save my child. My child have to walk away. Even if I don't, my child have to walk away from this. Minister Neal, what's on your heart? Mr. Neal, you there? Mr. Neal, maybe on another line or something. Talk to me, Tucson. Donald?
Yeah, mute button.
There you go.
I'm like Leonard. I don't let people get close to me.
Yeah.
I remember I'm at the car wash, washing my car, and this guy comes, "Hey man, back off of me." Oh man, I just need a little change. Man, look, don't come popping up on me like that. That's just the first instinct. Because I wanted to ask something from Curtis, Mr. Neal, you too. Anybody that been in it. How much time do you have to react?
And that's the thing.
What you say, less than 10 seconds?
Yeah, and that's the thing right there. Because in a situation like that, this guy trying to get away, he's very desperate. Tucson, he's very desperate in trying to get away. He rushed up on you and grabbed your daughter and put the gun to her head. What do you do? What do you do? He did.
Yeah, what's up, man? See how fast I can stab you in the eye.
I mean that's good if that's what it is. But in certain situations, Don, you don't have time to do anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Right. So now it's too late to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to think it through because family's at stake.
Yes, absolutely.
So now you have to slow down your thoughts. And this guy did pretty good. I think he did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was in a hopeless situation. So in hopeless situations, you have to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
You have to rethink. You have to kind of let's see how we gonna let's analyze what's my next move, because it's gonna be a next move. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not total surrender.
Yeah.
Especially when family is at stake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got my cap, and now I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna get you.
Mm-hmm.
Some way,
Mm-hmm.
somehow.
Yes, sir.
And here we are. Just so happens in our faith, by the grace of God, the police stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got something.
Mm-hmm.
See, the guy was thinking. Now we got something. So he did the right. He couldn't have done no better.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have done any better.
Exactly.
Because the police keyed and says, "See you in the trunk, you know, kind of like move your mouth. I'm pretty sure." And so he takes the guy where he needs to go. Gets his daughter. Hey, we good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I wish I had another vehicle.
Say it again.
I wish I would have had another vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Because to bring me through all of that drama, especially with my child, you didn't tell me that you done that to my child and I'm just gonna let you go. No, I'm gonna get another vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna blow my own car up with you in it.
Wow. Curtis?
Also, I want to address public citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't practice martial arts, but I've studied a lot about self-defense and things like that, but I'm not an actual martial artist.
Okay.
And when I was thinking about that particular situation, that wouldn't be for me a hand combat thing unless, you know, I could make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, more of the martial arts practices come from studying the behavior or the discipline necessary to maintain yourself to be effective in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
Listen, I am a man who don't have a lot of money, but I have a special set of skills.
Come on, Curtis.
Oh man.
Hey,
so
Curtis.
that
Hey, Curtis, your phone's a little bit low, brother. You talking directly into it?
okay, I am now.
Okay, there you go.
I said I am a man who don't have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have a special set of skills. That's a taking moment, baby.
Yes, sir.
That's a taking moment right
Mm-hmm.
there. Like, and I think any parent with any kind of with a good mind and judgment would move heaven and earth to ensure that their kid is going to be okay.
Yes. That's first thought.
I mean, like, that's just, you know, they say the first law of man is self-preservation. In that situation, as a parent, your mind will probably automatically shift to self-preservation, and it's not even like the physical self-preservation of self. It's the preservation of legacy and name, because your legacy will live through your kids.
Yes.
You know, so any upright parent will work from the perspective of, I have to preserve my legacy. That is a part of me. That, you know what I mean? But I mean, if I was in that situation, I'm gonna keep it real. I probably would move heaven and earth. I went to jail back in '98, kind of because of the same thing. I went to prison. Well, I went to jail. I didn't go to prison, but I came home. I just got out the military, and instead of going straight to South Carolina, my wife and I, at the time, my ex-wife and my son went to see my grandmother. So, because I had to fly into Baltimore, because when you get out, they always fly you to your home of record. And we in Baltimore, and I was going to the store for my grandma. I had my son with me, and these dudes started having a shootout right in front of us, like we was on the same block. So I grabbed my son. I threw my son in the car. The first thing I did was reach for a pistol that I did not have. And then I grabbed my son. In the process, I grabbed my son, throw him in the car. I jumped in the car and get ready to pull off. But when I get ready to pull off, one of the dudes is leaning across the hood of my car.
Good Lord.
And he's shooting at the other guy. The guy he's shooting at is running, and he just throwing bullets back. He's not looking at nothing. He just throwing bullets back. You know what I mean? And so it goes down. You know, we get back to the house, whatever. I leave and I go to South Carolina. 3 months later, my grandma got sick. So we came back up. And this time I brought my work with me. And I've been to court like I always do. You know, I get there, my grandma gonna want a Pepsi and some golden cheese. So I go to the store. As I'm walking to the store, I see the same dude that was leaning on my car. He was copping. You know, he was buying some drugs. He was buying drugs from my man. It was like I told y'all before, it's 5 of us. So he was buying some drugs from my man, and he was so wigged out, he didn't even know who I was. So my man pick up on it. He like, what's going on, Kurt? I say, yo, you know him? And he was like, hey, he come around all the time, cop, blah, blah, blah. So I told him what happened. So my man was like, I tell you what, I got him. I'm going to keep him here. So I was like, all right, bet. I had intentions on murdering him, man. I had intentions on murdering him, but while I was on my way to take my son to my mom's, because it was the perfect alibi, to take my son to my mom's, come back, deal with him, go back, get my son, get on the road, we go back to South Carolina. And it makes me think that the initial thing happened in March. When I caught back up with him, that was November. That was like November. All that time had lapsed. And as soon as I seen that dude that endangered my son like that, my automatic thought was he need to be taken off the planet.
Wow. And that's
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And
Wrap it up from Kurt.
While I was on my way to my mom's, I mean, you can call it divine intervention. But while I was on my way to my mom's, I rode past a unmarked car. and I was driving too fast. They pulled me over. When they pulled me over, boom, all the bullets and everything was in the glove box. So that then made them, probable cause. Do you got a gun, whatever. So, and I got locked up. So that dude, he probably don't even realize that the police saved his life and saved mine, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the self-preservation in that situation and scenario you gave, it goes beyond just preserving your life. It's now to preserve the life of your children.
Exactly. Let me go back to the phone line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? 252 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Dr. Cook.
Hey, Dr. Cook. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm well.
Good deal. Good to have you, sis. Did you hear the situation that we're talking about right now? Did you hear the scenario?
I came in after he was discussing it.
Okay.
I didn't hear everything. I'm not sure what the topic is today.
Okay. Well, we have what we call Black Conversation today, but what we're talking about is I ran across a clip. I played a little bit of it earlier. But what happened? There was an escaped convict, and a father was going to the daycare to pick up his daughter, and he picked up his daughter. The escaped convict came and apprehended the daughter from the father, got in the trunk, had a gun to the daughter's head in the trunk, and made the father get him through the checkpoint, because the police was doing a checkpoint. And the guy pulled up to the checkpoint, and the police asked him a couple of questions, license, registration, told him we're out here looking for an escaped convict. Have you seen him? And the father would not even look at the police officer. He just shook his head, no, sir. And then asked him a couple of other questions. And then he said, well, look, pop your trunk for me. And the father would not pop the trunk because he knew that the escaped convict was in the trunk with his daughter with a gun. And so had he did that, it would have probably got his daughter killed. And what we're talking about today is how many ways could a person be robbed? What do you hear in that situation?
I'm not even sure what to say on that. You do everything you can for your children, to protect your children.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard Kurt as well discuss his situation, and I completely understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, when your children make it out of any situation and they're well, I wouldn't place myself in that predicament to do something to another person, because that's going to take you from your son as well. So, I know sometimes people may not think in the moment because you're basically kind of caught up in that moment. And in your state of mind, you're protecting your child and your family. But if you go do some things that is going to take you away from your son, so like for instance, myself, I'm divorced, and my children had to go with my former spouse, and so I told him, whenever my children are with you, you need to make sure you protect your children. Mm-hmm. Don't allow anything to happen to my children, because I'm coming after you.
Yes.
But I had to think about that, because if I do anything to him, that means that everybody's going to be taken away from the children, and you don't know where your children are going to end up. Mm-hmm. So basically, I just try not to put myself in a predicament to do anything to anybody else that's going to take me from my children, because you may leave your children in a worse situation than before. Mm-hmm. You know how you're going to take care of your children, but you don't know how someone else is going to take care of your children if you put yourself in that predicament.
Exactly.
So I think about that too.
And the question becomes, at that moment, who's going to take care of your children after the court date?
Right. And will they take care of your children like you take care of your children?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We have another caller. That's real good. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Rico Jackson, calling from Anderson, Alabama. Grand Rising, everybody.
Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Doing my routine.
There you go. There you go. I know you heard the story this morning, Rico. What's on your heart, though, man? How vulnerable would you feel in a situation like that?
Very vulnerable, you know. And the biggest thing is that's another one of those situations where maybe you didn't expect the unexpected, but now since it's in your face, you got to deal with it calmly. You got to think on the fly, and you got to be very careful of how you move. You know, sometimes people actually think better under pressure.
Yeah.
Their life depends on because they really want to get out of that situation. So they're gonna think quick, and they're gonna think about the best decision that they can make to benefit them. And on top of it, they may start analyzing the person and find out how they can get through to them to make sure that they survive. Because sometimes these people already have a death wish.
Yep.
I ain't going in alive. I ain't gonna let them take me alive. Okay, you ain't gonna let them take you alive. Don't kill me. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find a way to fix your mouth, or find the right way to let the right sounds come out your mouth that have an effect on these people. Maybe you need to pray or sing something, but you got to find something. You got to look at this person and see if you can see something deep within inside them that you can connect with. Get some kind of logic to them so you can survive. Now that's when your survival skills kick in.
Absolutely.
And those times of emergency. Either you're gonna be a hero or you're gonna be a victim. So you know, those situations, man, that really happens a lot of times when people get caught up in their own world. That's the reason why it's so important for us to be aware of our surroundings. Or even when it comes to information and news, to even know that somebody escaped from prison, you might need to be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for this suspected killer. Or this suspected bank robber. It may be armed and dangerous. But sometimes we get caught up in our own world. We might scroll past that story because we're trying to see what kind of outfit somebody had on when they went to the Dominican Republic. You know, we're scrolling on there, living our best lives instead of paying attention to what's going on. Imagine that cop being one of them type people that is, oh man, we doing roadblocks tonight. Let me go on out here and get this night over with.
And not paying attention.
They ain't paying no attention. They ain't looking at none of the suspicious activity of the driver. They just, well, hey, he look like he all right. He ain't give me no problem. I'm going to get him out my way because I don't feel like being here anyway. Now here it is. You didn't even pick up the signs. You didn't even pick up how strange and awkward this man was acting, knowing the scenario. But I guess in that scenario, was that a true skit or was that a true story, just a skit?
I think it was a skit. I'm hoping it was a skit.
I would assume that they were probably having the roadblock because they were looking for the escape convict.
Yes.
So that was the reason why it was so much easier for him to pick up on that odd behavior of the driver. Exactly.
You know, it was deep, man. It was a lot going on in this situation, but I'm hoping it was just a regular skit that they put together. I mean, they did a fantastic job on it, and at the end of the day, he was apprehended, which is a good thing, and the daughter was safe. That's the biggest part of it right there. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
I was just talking with that scenario to someone else, but you know, it like Kurt was telling you, there's a lot of things that happen. You know how when the carjacking thing and all that was happening, and it wasn't that folks were stealing cars, but they were taking cars with babies in the back seat. And you have to think about what that would feel like. Now, I'm wondering, when people hear this, are they going to be more cautious? Or does it make them think now on some things that they could tighten up on? Because all of us can tighten up on some security type things. You know, there's a lot of things like, say, for instance, remember how we used to tell people, you don't walk around with your money in your hand?
Absolutely.
Or like when you coming out of the gas station, how people have a tendency to have their money in their hand. You know, that's why things go down at the gas station, because they're taking advantage of the fact that you're not paying attention. That's like how sometimes people jump out their car and leave their keys in the car or leave it running. You know, there are predators that are sitting around waiting for you to do things like this. So, you know, a lot of times, and like even Kurt say, that revenge thing, because you made me feel this way, if I see you again, if I come across you again, you know how we'll say, I'm going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that type of feeling that somebody puts you in and that gives you, and, you know, I wish I didn't feel like this, you know, but, you know, sometimes, and, you know, that has a lot to do with the violence in our communities. That's what is going on. People are being taken advantage of. And then, of course, there's going to be some revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, people need to be weary when you're traveling through an area and you see some signs. Say, you know, I was one of those people that I wouldn't have a problem picking up somebody on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? When I had kids and I got married, I couldn't do that anymore.
No.
I couldn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, even with a female, you know, I used to hate to see a female stranded.
Yep. Me too.
I don't do that no more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just because of the climate of the situation these days. It's like if you're a person that's usually in the city, you know how I go. Let me holler at you for a minute.
Yep.
You know, hey man, if you want to make no, cuz I don't need no deal you got, bro. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost like sometimes when you in the city, you know, you look around, you be like, okay, gotta keep my eye on that. Keep my eye on that.
Yep.
You know, that whole notion, well, let me go and get in the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need nobody behind me. You know, one of the reasons why, you know, a lot of women would never understand, you know, my wife went to the club with me a couple times. But when I go to the club, I can't be worried about you.
Mm-hmm.
Because the moment someone approaches you crazy, guess what's going to happen?
Yep.
I guarantee you I'm crazier.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a lot of things, you know, as a guy, and I think that we're a lot more prone to that type of behavior, that we're going to try to react. Like you said, when they got your child, you like, my child's life is very important. But at the same time, I can't show this person any fear. So you have to balance that. And you definitely want your child to be safe. But you that position that you put in at that moment, how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if I don't lunge for him, he may not really want to harm my child. He's just puffed up.
Yeah.
And he's using that to threaten me. Where, like, I think, what's my man Toussaint say? How I'm going to get him.
Yeah. How I'm going to get at him. Yep. Exactly.
How I'm going to get at him. Mm-hmm. You know? So everybody's notion isn't to just fall to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what would you do? And you should ask yourself, what would you do? But also you should be saying to yourself, my child should be strapped securely in the car seat. You should also be saying that your doors should be locked.
Yep.
And what would you do if someone approached your car? Would you immediately hit the gas, hit the gears, or what have you? Or would you be just so focused on that gun?
Run over them?
Exactly. You never know. So there are other things that you could do than just be scared.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then I think I got this clip. Ready to play. I want people to actually see it.
Man, I don't want to watch that clip.
So the people that's actually watching, you can see it. So hold on, let me get this paired here for us.
All right.
Play the clip for a second here. Go here. Bam.
Registration, please. Okay there, Mr. Bernstein? Yeah. Yes. Where are you coming from today? Preschool. We're looking for some men who escaped from prison. We haven't seen anyone like that, eh? No, sir. Stop the drunk for me? One more time. Need you now. By my side. Thank you for your cooperation. Have a nice day. Do what you wanted and give me my daughter. You can take my car.
That's what it was, y'all. That like I said, I wanted to actually play the clip so y'all can see it, so y'all can see the clip itself. But yeah, it was a very, very sad situation. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Cassandra calling from Atlanta.
Good morning, Cassandra. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
The clip I just played, I don't know if you was able to see it, but the clip I just played was with there was a escaped convict that had apprehended a little girl from her father. He was in the trunk with the gun to the little girl's head, and he was a desperate man trying to get away. But the father went through the checkpoint, and the conversation was with the police officer. And you know, you can see the desperation in the father's eyes, because when the police said he opened the trunk, you know, if you can see the clip, you will see that he I can't. Then the police officer used he didn't make any sound, but he said, "Is he in the trunk?" And he pointed to the trunk, and the father said yes, and so they followed him home, and that's how they apprehended the escaped convict. Cassandra, how vulnerable would a person feel in a situation like that?
Extremely vulnerable, because you know that your decision could affect your child's life, or you know, even the officer's life, or your life. I mean, you don't know what a desperate person is going to do. So that is extremely vulnerable at that moment. And it's crazy that you guys are talking about this, because I was just watching CNN, and this scenario happened last night, I think. The guy, well, he wasn't an escaped convict, but he kidnapped a 6-year-old little girl, and somebody saw him grab the child and put him in his car, and the cops surrounded the car, and they didn't know, you know, whether he had a gun or anything, but they went in, you know, to try to say this. I mean, I just watched this right before I called in on CNN, and they were like, "Listen, we got kids." And when we heard, you know, it was a kid, we just took that. We were going to take that chance. We were not going to let him pull off with the child in the car. It was crazy.
Wow.
And you watch the whole thing. If you watch CNN, the whole thing played out. And they went up to the car and opened the door. He wouldn't open the door, so they opened the door and pulled the child. He had the child crouched down on the floor, just like what you said. It was crazy. But yeah, and they were able to get and he the officer said when he grabbed her out of the car, she just clung to him, and he said he was about to cry because she grabbed him around the neck, you know, just as a kid. He said, "Can you take me to my daddy? I want my daddy." And it was like surreal. Yeah, so it's real, and that was a vulnerable position for them, you know.
Exactly. And so there's so many different layers to this thing, man. And we're talking about our topic today is how many ways could you rob a person without, you know, physically robbing them out of money and stuff like that. There's so many other ways that we can rob individuals. Dr. Cook, what's on your heart?
Just listening to her tell that story is very touching. When those situations come, you really don't know what you will do. The first thing to respond and basically say, I'm going to get that person that injured my child or that took my child. I was just thinking about another situation that occurred with a lot of the pedophiles. They kidnap children and rape them and kill them. And I know the first thing that is on a parent's mind is that I'm going to get that person back.
Yes.
I'm going to get that person back. They got every right because they violated that person's child. Well, either killed that person's child. And working with a lot of them, you really have these bad thoughts on on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to must deal with it. And it's really something else. It's a painful feeling because I had to work with a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand what how every parent feels. It's just a painful feeling. I thank God that I was not placed in that situation. But I do feel what a lot of other parents feel. And I know some people that have basically taken their, basically committed the crime. The crime was done by them, and their child was part of that situation, and now they're locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And now the child was in foster care. And I look at it from every different position, and it's a hurtful feeling when a person goes after the individual that did something to their child that was really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're locked up for it. And it's very hard for them to get any information on the child or ensure that their child is taken care of. So I've seen it from every different point of view. I thank God that I have not been placed in that position.
Absolutely.
And I just feel for those that have been placed in that position.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you something, and people might say that I'm wrong for this, and I could very well be. But I couldn't, if I knew someone had done something like that to a child, and I commend you, sister. I commend you for being able to work with them because I couldn't. I couldn't take my mind away from what you've done to a child, because I say it all the time, and I know y'all heard me say it. Old people and children you're not gonna bother them around me. You're not gonna treat them bad or mistreat them around in my presence. You're just not gonna do it. And to think that you've done something to a child, and now you're coming to me for me to Rico, I could be wrong, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I agree with you. That would be a hard one to get by, but I guess as a therapist, just like if you were an attorney, you still got to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in that person, you're trying to find and dig where that deviant problem came from and help them get over that if they can.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they have an urge for it, you know what I'm saying? You still have to find a way. If you are a therapist or if you are paid, your career is based on helping those type of people, doing what your job is telling you to do, help. But I like what Leonard said earlier about balance, and the way I use balance, the way I would use balance in this situation when you ask that question. Well, first off, let me say this. The question that you ask, really and truly, you have to do a 3-hour segment every Friday for a year straight.
Mm-hmm.
to determine all the different ways that a person can be robbed. I mean, you could be robbed of the knowledge of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You could, right now, we got children robbed of knowing who their real fathers are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who they are, where they really came from. If they was to go get on a family tree, they probably from the family tree of somebody they ain't got no relation to, because they don't know their real fathers. I mean, there's so many different ways to be robbed. But the thing is we have to find a balance. We have to find a balance between awareness and being comfortable. See, what I'm seeing is we have become a nation and a society that's so hooked on convenience and comfort that sometimes we don't like to make ourselves aware when we step outside of our doors. We just assume that, hey man, whatever I see on TV and whatever I hear is going on, it ain't gonna happen to me. I remember one time when they found the house with those girls, with some women had been kidnapped for years, missing. And all of a sudden one got loose and found this black man. The interview where the black man said, I knew something had to be wrong for a white woman to come run up to a black man.
Mm-hmm.
And it went viral. It was funny, but he saved all those women's lives.
Yeah.
But who would have thought that next door neighbor was putting something off like what they would see on a Lifetime movie channel?
Mm-hmm.
The guy in Ohio that was killing people had the serial killer. Well, he wasn't black. Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said that there's a possibility he was feeding them to people because he used to have neighborhood barbecues and get a food away. People buried in the backyard. So, I mean, with us being aware, we have to understand that some of the things we see on TV, when we see it on the news, breaking news CNN, even though it's on TV, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like these movies, so you got to know that balance. You got to learn to discern from skits and movie scripts and what's real, and take this real information and know that, hey, if I'm not careful, I could become vulnerable to this situation.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so here it is. You see something like, if I was a person that wanted to rob somebody, if I was physically robbing people for cars or money, I would get the people, I would get men that I see like they drag the feet and walk and slide. If I wanted to rob a woman, I'd get me a woman that had a button on her head and her pajamas. Because, see, they stay comfortable. They don't want to get out of their home comfort zone. So now here it is, with you knowing that the way this world operates, the world has revealed itself to you and let you know that if you ain't careful, you'll get your head knocked off. But you love and you crave your comfort at home so much that you don't even want to prepare yourself to go out in public. So as a robber, I'm going to look at that and know not only are they not prepared to come in public by looking at the way they dress, but I know they ain't got no gun. The only thing they thought was money in their body because they came to get what they wanted to get. And I'm going to catch them slipping. So, you know, that we have to know that balance. We got to know when to separate companies. Now, it's not meant for us to walk around and be on point all the time. Always alert, you know, looking like we at war or something. But at the same time, we got to know that there are certain levels of comfort that we can have. You know, when we at the job, we got to be comfortable to get the work done properly. Can't be on the edge all the time, but you can't be home comfortable.
Yeah.
Because if you're home comfortable, you might go in the bathroom, take your clothes off, and come back out in your boxes. Keep your feet up on the desk. That's two different types of comfort. So there's a time and a place for everything. And when you're out here in public, in this world that has revealed itself, you better be aware of all the possible dangers that may lie ahead, especially when you have to protect other people.
Exactly. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? Donald? Gotta come back to Donald. Donald might have stepped away for a second.
Donald looking for them plaid pants he had on Facebook the other day.
You saw the pants, man? Boy,
I need a pair. I bet you them was them double knit with the button on them. I need them.
Yeah, the bell. Were they bell bottoms?
No, I don't know if they was bell bottoms, but they was cool. I need to get me some.
Yeah, man. They have.
I'm gonna bring it back. I'm bringing it back.
About 10 or 12 colors in them.
Stop it, Raheem. Don't encourage my foolishness on a Friday. We've talked about this.
Man,
stay on topic. Stay on topic, Raheem.
Oh, okay. Man, you did it. You don't want it out there, man.
You seen him though, right?
Yeah, so that dude was sharp, boy. He was raising sharp, boy.
He was posed against that tree. He was posed against the tree.
That tree was like, oh my God, what the world?
Killing the 70s. He was killing the 70s. What is you talking about?
Killing them. Look here. And couldn't tell him he wasn't. Couldn't tell him he wasn't. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me, Kurt. Kurt, you with us?
Oh, yeah, I'm right here, man. I had to hit the mute button.
How many ways? Let's get into that line of conversation, man. How many ways could a person be robbed outside of the obvious?
I don't know. I think we covered everything, Ryan. I think we covered everything.
So you can't think you can't think of another way that a person could be robbed outside of the obvious?
Well, the greatest robbery is robbery of the spirit. For real. The greatest robbery that can be committed is the spirit. That's the moment. That's the moment when the robbery becomes an atrocity. That's the only thing I can think of right offhand, bro. I mean, keep being real and climb up and standing upright. To rob a man of his spirit. Man. And you got some of these churches that's doing it consistently every Sunday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, you done something. You done something. We had lost Tucson until you said something about them pants he had on. He just called back in, man. You started talking about them pants before he don't call back in. So, hey, this is Black Conversation. Let's have it. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I know he switched it up with a leather jacket from time to time. I know he did.
Members only. Man, Curtis hit something. And I was thinking about, in between you going and coming back. We've been, our society, our world, our families are being robbed by social media across the board. TikTok, being famous, getting likes and shares in our personal life. We're putting ourselves on display and making ourselves vulnerable to the enemy. Because it's a spiritual battle that we fight every day. And we just so carnal and we missing it. Being robbed. When I said this thing turning out to go into a direction if we allow it. Because we're just this little thing will allow you to see by what Cassandra said, if there are copycats out there looking for scenarios to take your life or to bring their mindset or how they think or what they're trying to get and gain. They trying to inflict you with their pain. Here's a guy that you just showing us a video because Sam said, I've just seen this happen in real life.
Yep, exactly.
Life is real. While a lot of people all across the board, even and when Curtis said every Sunday we're doing that in our churches. I said, that's right. He's right.
Were you just singing 2 songs?
No, watch this. That wasn't a sing, that was a hoop.
Oh, okay, I guess.
And I wasn't saying nothing.
Yes, sir. Talking loud, ain't saying nothing.
We listen for sound. And if it sounds like preaching, it must be preaching. But a lot of people are talking loud in a rhythm, but they ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
And people are excited about a bunch of nothing and following a bunch of clowns that don't know one scripture from another. Because they get these internet messages and think it's going to work in everybody's life. And everybody's pleased and proud and they following because it sounds good. But it ain't no good because it don't cause you to change, to have a desire to change your life.
Now, and that's good, and I appreciate everything you said, but I need to know, I need you to defend them pants though, brother.
I missed it. I missed it. I want to know what y'all talking about. I was trying to ignore it. Now you see, you brought me back. So let's talk about these pants.
Man, look at you.
Since you said something about these pants, I remember somebody. We had 12 in our family, and some people tried to, give us clothes and stuff like that. They thought it was helping. They gave us some pants and had a zipper down the center of it. And you could either have the zipper down where it didn't reveal what's inside the zipper, or you can zip it up. And they had in the zipper.
What's that?
A pink elephant.
I got a suit like that. I need them pants though. I like them pants.
Well, see, Don, I'm looking at a post that you put on here, January the 20th, when you standing by a tree. Is one of you standing by a tree, you got the hand on the tree, you got on them checkerboard pants. You got them checkerboard pants on with about 15 colors in them.
I was sharp.
You're sure?
Clean.
Yeah, we had 70s day at the church.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to dress the part. So I went to the Goodwill somewhere, and I found that outfit right there, man.
No. You went to the back of your closet and you found that outfit. Stop playing, Cassandra.
I'd have had that chocolate 3/4 length leather coat and them zip up chocolate boots to go with it.
Cassandra, what's on your heart, Cassandra? Hey, we done got sidetracked a little bit. What's on your heart, Cassandra?
You know, I thought about Donald. I love the 70s, so keep on wearing your stuff if you want to every day. They're good. 70s are always good.
So you want him to wear them clothes every day, Cassandra?
Every day. I wear 70s clothes every day, and I wear a lot of it. So,
okay.
But anyway, because they're back in fashion now, actually. If you know anything about fashion, and 70s style is back in fashion. But I wanted to. The question was about what can someone rob you of?
Yes. How can you rob somebody other than normal?
Other than normal way.
Yes.
And I don't know whether I'm sure someone has mentioned this already, but people can rob you of your peace. People can rob you. I'm telling you, if you don't know how to control it, people can rob you of, and they can, guys. I've been there. I talk to people on a daily basis, and someone and we can say, yeah, well, you allow them. Listen, it's people that are their spirits are so overwhelming to other people that they are able to take their peace from them. They are. Not say that nobody can take yours, but don't say that they can't take anybody.
Yeah.
Because I see it all the time. And I've robbed my peace, and this week has been a trying week for me. Honestly, it's been crazy, and it seemed like all week somebody was trying to take me out of character, and and take my peace from me. And I was like, you know what? I hung up on one person this week because I was about to go totally off with them, and because they were trying to steal my peace. You know what they were saying. You're not going to come at me any kind of way. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. You are not going to come at me any kind of way, and I'm just going to keep letting you do it. Yeah. I'm going to have to say something. Exactly. I'm going to have to set those boundaries because that person didn't know that they are boundaries. You can't cross certain lines with me. But yes, stealing your peace. People can try, and some people do, steal other people's joy or peace on the regular.
On the regular, absolutely.
On the regular.
And see, sad as it is, you got some people that wake up with the intent of going out there being disruptive and stealing people's joy and their peace from them. They wake up with that intent.
That's really hard.
Wow.
You know what's shameful right here?
What's that?
Let me tell you what's real shameful and what Cassandra just threw out there is so true. What you want me to tell you what's real shameful? You got a whole lot of husbands and wives doing it to each other.
Wow.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. You got a whole lot of husbands and wives doing it with each other. And what's sad is, as a therapist, as a counselor, it comes out in the worst kind of way. Because, we're taught to try and conduct services in the utmost of honest ways. And what happens is the honesty drops. And somebody sitting in that room ain't ready for that level of honesty, Jack. I mean, I've literally seen where I've been in a family session and the dude just he made me reach for my knife, and I ain't even got my knife with me. Because he done completely broke down and just let it fly. God, you know the rest. You're not going to keep taking my peace from me.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we all know that, you know, just human beings just all by themselves can be emotional creatures. But sometimes, you know, the female gender can really, really be emotional. Sometimes they can get caught up in their emotions because, I mean, it's the way, like, it's a female, you know what I mean? Like, she got things that we would never understand as men. She got things going on that we would never understand as men. So she's trying to process all this information all at the same time. You know, there's biological things going on. There's, you know what I mean? Like, there's just things going on that we wouldn't understand. And if you have been abused or have existed in a certain space of trauma, continuous trauma all the time, or continuous chaos, and I see this in a lot of men where they have been involved in a lot of chaos over a series of years. So the human mind will compartmentalize things, right? So it compartmentalizes things as, oh, that's normal, right? So in their world, it's normal for, like, I've been in sessions with females where it was normal for the dude to beat her up. That was normal. I've been in sessions with families where it was normal for the female to take all of your money and not justify what she's spending it on, nothing. But now, what is also normal is at some point, if this is any form of abuse and neglect, the human being itself is going to get tired. It may take him 5 years, it may take her 10 years, it may take him 15 years, either way it goes, at some point, they're going to get bothered to the point that they're going to break. And if there's not an interceding person and or situation, if there's not a mediator, when that break happens, it can completely destroy your relationship.
Absolutely.
And there's people out there, like Cassandra said, I swear, man, I've seen it with my own eyes. There's people out there who their whole life has been, for real, their whole entire life, or the most important parts of their life, has been engulfed in some form of chaos and drama. So if life is peaceful, like, have you ever had that friend that life is peaceful and you hear them say to you, oh, something got to be wrong?
Yeah.
They get uncomfortable in peace. And you like, what's wrong with you? And they like, something, I don't know, I didn't, is they looking at me? And you like, what is you talking? Them people ain't paying you no attention. It's shameful, man. Like, the emotional, sometimes folk tend to think that emotional exhaustion is not real. It is real.
Exactly.
And it will drive people to commit suicide, bro.
Absolutely. Leonard, what do you say to that, man? A person that says, "Oh man, it's going too good, man. Something about to happen, man. Something about to happen. It's going too good." What is wrong with that person?
Well, first of all, is that person has lived that life.
Mute your line, everybody.
As sad as it may seem, everybody's life ain't peaches and cream. There are some people who just haven't had enough good things happen to them. You know, there's a lot of anxiety that goes along with that. The place where have you come from and you find peace now? If you've noticed, I am very avoidant of negative energy. And so I try not to surround myself in those types of conversations and things of that nature, because there's a point when things, yes, there's a need to express what you may be feeling, but there's another thing to allow it to become your priority. Because I want to, when we're feeling things this way, negativity is never good. So I don't want you around me if you have a negative attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not inviting you to dinner or any of that. We're not going to kick it a lot. And it's because of your negative presence bothers me. And whenever I see that negative presence, I know that something is probably going to go wrong. So a lot of times you have to have a lot of positive people in a room to counteract negative behavior. If you're in a meeting and there's a point at where things can be discussed, and then there's a point where the meeting has to be adjourned. And that's what happens when you allow too much negative to tip the scale on you that way. So my practice is to avoid it, or to always ask any questions. When I have that feeling or I feel negative about something, why do I feel negative about it? And it comes a lot from meditation and things of that nature. Is that because, one, I'm responsible for that. I can't let Kurt ruin my day.
Yes.
I can't do that. I can't give Kurt or anybody that much power to ruin my day. Even when we're talking on the show, and I'm on your show regularly, I'm never going towards the negative way. I'm never going to go that negative energy way. I don't care how many people agree or whatever. I'm going to go the opposite way because there's negativity there. And that has never benefited me. So I don't go that way. And so that's my thing when you talk about people protecting yourself, even securing your spirit is important. It's not just like that episode that you mentioned. It's about even securing your spirit. I mean, you're not just a physical person, you're a spiritual person as well. There's an attack on a spiritual level that you must be prepared for as well. So it's better to get yourself in a place where you're not just falling to pieces when things happen. People say, well, everybody must express themselves, but falling to pieces over everything. I meet some people that everything is just, it's just off the chart. Those aren't people you want to surround yourself with.
Exactly.
Because their behaviors give away a lot of negativity that may come from trauma or all types of things. Why can't you keep your mouth closed when somebody else talking? That's a deep-seated issue, not being able to keep your mouth shut.
Come on.
So you have to think about it. I wasn't even talking about, just with your example that you started the show with. You have to secure yourself spiritually as well to protect yourself from those type of people.
Now, let me go to Dr. Cook. Dr. Cook, talk to me about energy and how positive or negative energy can affect, like Leonard said, your day, or as much of your day as it want to.
I don't allow positive energy to seep in. It's going to attack you from every end, but it's up to you to allow that to affect you. And when I see positive energy coming my way, I'm moving in the other way, in the other direction. And people, we can't escape positive energy because it's going to come to us. But it's up to us as to how we react to it. And people start talking negative to me, I'll let them speak their piece, but I'm not going to allow that positive energy to affect me. People like to give their opinions or advice, and a lot of times it may be negative advice. I don't say anything to them. I allow people to basically speak what they want to say. But it's up to you to allow that negative spirit to enter you. And you have the power, because God gave us the power from within to basically rebuke that spirit. Anything that's negative, you can go in the other direction, but sometimes you may have to respond to that negativity in order to obtain your peace and keep moving. Now, this is not a perfect life, but you control your own destiny. Everyone controls their own destiny. You decide what you want to do in life. Now, we know that things are going to come our way, but you decide where you want to go in life. I don't mess with negative energy. I just keep it moving.
Exactly.
I don't let it come in.
Absolutely. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra, you there?
Yes. I agree with the doctor, and my only thing is, especially when it comes to younger people, children, that they don't have that defense that we do as adults to just say what they want to people, because that's like a no-no. You understand? Even if the person is coming across negative, they can't say anything like you so stupid, whatever. I don't know many children that stand against their parents and say, I'm not stupid, don't call me that. Because in a lot of households, that would be a beat down immediately.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So, it's good, to say, well, you let somebody take you there. But there are some people that are so vulnerable, they don't have a defense against that. They don't have a defense against that. So, let's make sure that we compartmentalize, what can be said or what can't be said. A friend of mine just called me to share, had a video sent to me that her niece sent her about how the stepmother talks to her. The child recorded it. The child was 8 years old, 9 years old. And she recorded the stepmother saying some of the filthiest, nastiest things to this child. And this child was living in a home with her. And she's physically abusive and she's verbally abusive. That child doesn't really have, you know what I'm saying? She can't say, you don't talk to me like that. Whatever, it don't matter. Because an adult that is doing that to a child, that child, how do y'all, for those that feel like you make a person stop doing something you are, or you don't have to let them say something to you. How do you do that with a child that is living in that household with that person? Now, right now, they're trying to get the child out of the home because there have been, the child has recorded multiple instances. Now they have something that they can go to defects or whatever. But what if that child doesn't have that, y'all? That's all I'm saying. What if that child doesn't have that?
The father, though, Cassandra, he's supposed to take a stance on that. Hold on now.
He is, what do you call it? She is taking care of him because he is quadriplegic. From the neck down, and she sort of makes sure that they don't have access to other people. The child is homeschooled. He is pretty much bedridden with the paralyzed. I'm just saying, everybody's got different situations, guys. You can't put everything in a box and say how people should handle things. It's different situations.
Absolutely. And that's they need to get her out of there, man. She don't need to be there.
I'm just saying, y'all. Everybody's situation ain't the same. Everybody can't control the situation they're in. They can't. They may want to, but they can't.
Yeah. Wow. And that's another vulnerable situation that like we talked about the other one. That's a very vulnerable situation because he have to feel helpless, even if he know, but there's nothing he can do. Rico, what's on your heart?
Nothing he can do.
Well, that's the awareness of what goes on in this world. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality that we live in. Like she just said, everybody doesn't have a perfect life. Sometimes we don't expect our neighbors to have their children in the backyard raised up with the dogs, but it happens. And when they come across the news feed, we're astonished. Somebody actually gave birth to their child. Oh, what about the ones that locked the children in the basement, then have babies with them? That is some people's existence. Now, don't get me wrong. We can be looked at as negative or positive or pessimistic and optimistic, but it's still the fact remains that we have to be aware that these things go on. And sometimes if we are aware of it, we can notice it, and it might be on us to stick our nose in that negative business to make it positive for somebody that's helping us. That's a negative situation. My son is going through a negative situation. I know other children, when you were speaking of the things that people can be robbed of, now a lot of children are robbed of their childhood, their innocence.
Yeah.
Just a joke. We sit back and talk about all the fun we had, and then, you think about that quadriplegic child she was just talking about. Now that was just nature. Probably, I don't know how the child became quadriplegic, but he was robbed of his childhood. He can't do the things that a normal teenager does. He can't function and experience a lot of things. So, like I said, when we start talking about being aware and of what we can be robbed of, it could be so many different things. But that's why it's important for us to be aware of all the different situations that can happen in this lifetime, in this existence. And then, you got news channels. You have information out there to help you stay informed of what's going on around you. I remember when I first moved to Florida. This is how I know, things happen every day. Convicts escape all the time. People get kidnapped every day. But the news only puts it out when it's trending. I guarantee you, everywhere in the United States, somewhere, every day, there's a woman or a man getting out of his car, leaving his child in his car, and somebody carjacking, taking that car with that child in it. But see, you're not going to see it on the news every day. You're only going to see it when it's time for it to trend. So when I first moved to Florida, I remember one time I seen 3 different women in a week span. Walked in the store, left the car running, left the baby in the car, and came back out. The car was gone. They had to chase out down the street after the babies. I'm like, well, wait a minute now. If you've been looking at the news and aware of what's going on instead of just living in your own little world, then you would understand that you need to start taking more precautions to protect these babies. It's your job to protect these babies. And now you see now that it is a possibility of happening. See, now, would it be negative for me to say, well, you know what, let me lock these doors, or let me take these children out the car because I don't want nobody to come out and try to kidnap them? Or would it be safer for me to say, well, you know what, I hate to be negative and think pessimistic, but I might need to take them out the car with me because, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to think about the negative consequences, the possibilities that are out there. Because every step we take, every day we breathe, there's a possibility that even though we try to do the right thing, something negative might come and slap us in the face. We might be on the way to our job to provide for our families.
Absolutely.
But some drunk nuthead decide to come cross over the interstate and hit me head on.
Yep.
That's a negative situation, but I wasn't thinking negative, but it came to me. It came to me. So you have to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yep. Because you never know. You never know. You have to be aware every move you make that it might not turn out the way you want it to, even though you have the best intentions for it to. You always got to be prepared for that negative impact. That's why every time I'm out with my family, man, I'm always on alert, man. I'm always looking around. I'm always paying attention to everything that's going on because I want them to be able to relax and enjoy themselves. But at the same time, somebody got to be looking out. Somebody got to know what's happening. No, we ain't going over there. Come on, let's go over here. No, let's go over here. What's wrong, nothing? Come on, let's go over here. And so we have to be mindful of those things, man. Toussaint, what's on your heart? Toussaint, you there? Leonard, talk to me. Toussaint ironing his pants.
Man, leave Toussaint alone in them pants. You know, I think one of the things that I like try to motivate people towards is I had great parents who taught us about these things before they happened, and made us aware of the different culture that we have. Then the people around us may not have that culture. And that's what I mean. Even though everybody was black, we still were different because we just believed in doing certain things and living a certain way. And so those are the types of things that I try to help people with, is the fact that there are certain things, I don't care who you think you are, maybe, that you may not be able to avoid. It's better to prepare for those things than be caught off guard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where the attack will come from, when you're off guard. So people say, well, you so hard, you so this, I have to be. It's called self-preservation. It's called not allowing you to ever be more important than me. When even I was a kid and things like they know we do, we cuss under our breath. We curse you under our breath.
What you say? Nothing.
That's what we would do. And for some of people, adults who were just too rude, it was all out mayhem. Even as a child, I was not taught to respect people that did not respect me. So even if you were an adult and you said something crazy to me, there was going to be a problem. Because if I had to tell my mother, there was going to be a bigger problem. So one, this is the way I teach my children. Because I may not always be around, but you're still a human being. You still deserve to be respected. You still deserve to be treated fairly. I don't care who is on the other side of the table. Don't you ever let anybody treat you less than that. And you need to teach your children that, so they'll be better adjusted to what is going to happen to them when they become adults. And quit teaching them to be less than in any way, shape, form, or fashion. There's too many kids are taking their pain out on themselves. And so we hope that we've given them this voice and that they practice and that they can use it to the best of their ability, because it just don't happen overnight. You have to practice it. You know how you used to before once you get tired of that person beating you up at the park, you get ready the day before and you go in there to win. But what you don't do is bend your knee. What you don't do is go along with that is trying to make you less than. I don't care what nobody say. If you do it for the right reason, righteousness will protect you and keep you. I truly believe that. That is my faith. That is my culture.
That's good. That's good. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, how often is it that people they rob themselves by listening to the negatives that a person say about them, buying into the negative?
Every day. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. Every day.
Wow.
It's almost shameful. You know what I mean? But that's that. To be honest, that's that woman that for those of us who have done it and have moved beyond that, that's that moment where we said, man, did this person not see? Like, that ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
But every day, 4 or 5 times a day.
Wow. Cassandra, what do you say to that? How often is it that a person rob themselves by buying into the negatives that people say about them?
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. And you know, many of us have been guilty of that, whether we want to admit it or not. Because there are certain people that when they say things to you, it affects you differently than other people. I don't know whether that makes sense, but there are certain people that can say something to you that it can like tear into your very being.
Yeah.
And yes, once again, you can say the person allows it, but you know, it's just a reality. And for those that are strong enough to just, hey, I don't care what nobody say. I'm glad. I'm glad that people can say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do care to a degree.
Yeah.
I do care what people say about me, and I should care spiritually because the Bible talks about that. How we, you know, people are supposed to see our lives. We're a city that is set upon a hill that cannot be hid. So then people are supposed to see something in you. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So then I do care what people see.
Yeah.
You know,
mm-hmm.
and I just, you know, I don't know. You know, that's, yeah.
And Cassandra, to your point, Cassandra, and just using me as an example here, somebody could come and say something to me, the most hardest thing in the world. But if I don't have a relationship with that person, it's not gonna make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody that's close to me, like my wife, my mom, or my kids, say that very same thing, those very same words, it'll cut me deep. It'll cut me deep.
Touch you deep.
Yeah. All the way down to the marrow. Ain't that what they call it inside the bone? The marrow or
to
bone?
the marrow.
Yeah. cut you down deep, boy. But it depends on who's delivering it, though. It depends on who's delivering
who it is.
Who's saying it. Because if you don't care nothing about this person, don't have a relationship with this person, don't even know that person, they come up to you and say, man, you gotta be the dumbest person I've ever seen in my life. You know, you might hit them in the head or something like that, but you know what? You know, it's not gonna cut you. But you let somebody that's real close to you, somebody that you look up to and you admire, you respect, they come and say that, man, Cassandra's it's a different animal. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, what's
Good morning, this is Bishop.
Hey, that Bishop.
That's him.
Hey, Leonard.
Good Bishop.
There you go. Got it. Bishop, we're talking about how many ways could a person rob you outside of the obvious. And I know you've been listening to the conversation this morning, Bishop. So what's on your heart?
Well, great topic. People can rob you outside of the obvious by disrespecting you, but not bestowing honor upon you that is ever more due to you.
Mm-hmm.
I gave you on a statement a few minutes ago, a conversation where we have, people lying on you. You know this person's character. But I always say it like this. I don't know you. I heard about you. I heard this. But now I got to judge it for myself because people also have underlying agendas, certain dislikes about a certain person, but I have never had the opportunity to make your acquaintance or get familiar with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to allow someone's words to control our friendship or our relationship or our first encounter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to always be careful about that because and my mama said this, anytime somebody brings you a whole bunch of mess, then look inside their wagon.
Come on.
They're making a lot of noise themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, this is what we have to deal with in faith. And on this Christian journey, because Sandra was saying something, I go as far as back into what Solomon said. A good name is better than many riches.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like a good name, and I like my name to, stay clean and pure. But if you don't, there's so many things that the Bible says, but it also says, woe unto the man that everyone speaks well of. So if you anticipate everybody speaking well of you, then that goes your reward right there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes folks don't care what you do. They still gonna find fault in you, find a reason to dislike you or hate you. And I'm pretty sure that, because I didn't catch everybody's conversation, I'm pretty sure other folks have had some great conversations and probably have experienced some of the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even from their own family members who talk about them like a dog.
Yes, sir.
And then when you get to the family again, cuz I ain't seen you in so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, smiling in your face, skinning and grinning. And the next thing you know, they've been up here bragging your name in the mud the entire time.
Exactly. And I got a shirt that said, people can't talk good about you in public because of how they talk bad about you in private. See, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. People can't do it. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Goes to another rule about one. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Don't even put the negative energy out there. Like Bishop was just saying, people are going to say what they want to say. I live from the inside out, not the outside in. I've gotten to the point in my life where I don't have very many secrets at all. And that's a blessing because I don't have to, I'm not ashamed of what I say and how I live. And I know that some people have those issues. But I would hope that they would want to be better.
Yeah.
And I would hope that for them. But I also understand that some people don't have the same agenda. They just don't. And it comes across in their business dealings when people say things about them. Like everybody ain't lying on you. Everybody not lying on you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you can say, well, I've heard this, I've heard that. But like Bishop said, I make my own judgment. But what I've heard about you has not been good. See, I'll tell someone that. I'll be directly honest with somebody because, one, that's how I want them to be with me. So, yes, I've had people all the time, say, well, you shouldn't have said this. You don't tell me what to say.
Yeah.
What made you think I woke up this morning worried about what you thought or how you would feel about something I said? I mean, I would hate to live a life that way because you're preoccupying with other people's perception. If you're just a decent person and you try to treat everybody right, that's not saying, some people are going to be misunderstood. Some people going to just not like you anyway because you're doing good or saying good things. So where you going to make the investment emotionally? Where are you going to make the investment? And what somebody else is talking about or the truth of the matter? There are some people that just are not free enough to handle my conversation. But it's never going to be, oh, I said something bad. Those types of things people have to address. And if you stick to the truth and being a decent person, you don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
It's great to have lived long enough to realize that I don't have to impress Raheem. I'm not trying to impress Raheem. I'm just being me.
Exactly. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, man. I get looked at as a negative person, I know, and a pessimist, but at the same time, every time somebody needs a shoulder to lean on, or they need a problem solved, and they need some advice, guess who they call? Because I do see both sides of the story. Just sometimes that the only thing they want to see is the positive, that they're too blind to the negative that can't happen. And they will choose to leave themselves vulnerable because they want to gain their agenda so bad. I'm speaking into existence. You ever heard that?
Yep.
I'm speaking it into existence. I don't care what nobody says, it's mine and I'm claiming it. But sometimes it might not be yours. And so, I might be the one that come back and tell you, well, look, that sounds like a good idea, but you need to be prepared for this. See, the thing is, I heard everybody say, it depends on who says it and on whether or not it affects how I feel. I don't believe in that. I believe in it depends on what's said.
and how it impacts me. Because you know how many people are in prison right now because somebody said it wasn't true? They probably don't care nothing about these people that accuse them or whatever, or lied on them to protect somebody else. But guess what? They're in prison. They're not hollering and begging for appeals and trying to get somebody to hear the story. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the man about 3 or 4 months ago. He got executed in Oklahoma. After his execution, they found out he was innocent. I'm pretty sure he was mad about whoever lied on him. And then we talk about Rodney Reed. He finally got an appeal. They said his execution, he might get out. They got so much evidence that this man didn't commit his crime. But the courts wouldn't give him an opportunity and give him his rights as a human being to prove himself because they had already proved their case. Then we got a movie called Just Mercy.
Yep.
Somebody lied on him. That was a true story that happened in Alabama. Oh yeah, he ain't the only one. There's hundreds of people in Alabama sitting in prison right now for crimes they didn't do, but somebody said they did. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, if I happen to bring up that negative side, that's the reality. The reality is that those people are sitting in prison, they tell the truth every day. Every chance they get, they're telling somebody the truth. They just want somebody to hear, somebody that can help them. But they're being confronted with it. Why? Because of something negative that somebody said about them. And now it was perceived as true. So, I mean, you know, we have to always remember, you know, when we can positively reinforce people by telling them to stay positive. Avoid this, avoid that. But sometimes you can't run from it. So what we have to do, we have to raise people to have tough skin. Like Sandra said earlier, to be tough and not bothered by what people say, but still understand that they are human. And they could be on the losing end of this thing if they still aren't prepared to address the situations that can come up, no matter how well what they did right or wrong. Now, another thing is, if somebody said something about me that was negative and it was true, I wouldn't care who said it. If it's true, I got to look at it and be like, well, you know what? I was wrong. That's me. And it might bother me. It might not bother me because I'm the one that did it. But it does have an impact on me.
Yeah.
If I did something and I didn't think anybody saw it, but then some random person say, yeah, I know who did that. That crime been unsolved for 5 years. But I saw Rico do it. I'm concerned now. I'm concerned. So, I mean, yeah, we got to always be concerned about what people say about us because we have a reputation to keep. And we aren't just on this, we are on this planet as individuals, but we still supposed to be living as a one whole community.
Exactly.
And that's why our virtues and character is real important in that.
Question, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Because I believe in practice. So how do we do that? How do we care about what people say about us?
How do we care or should we care?
No, I want to know, how would you do that?
That's a good.
Because this was one of my evaluations in corporate America at one point. Is they were trying to judge my response to a situation that was so different than everyone else. And you seem not to care. You seem not to be concerned. Well, show me how would I do that? How would I show you I'm concerned?
Well, a lot of times that could go into the verbiage, the amount of verbiage that you have with it, your reaction to it, your body demeanor, your whole psyche. And I'm just talking from my standpoint. I'm gonna go to Cassandra because she's actually in the counseling. Cassandra, what do you say to that?
No, you said it right. You named some of the main things. Yeah, your body language, your response. Like if somebody gets hurt on the job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just stand back. You're not trying. They're bleeding. You just standing back. You know, are like, well, what do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you don't say that, you know, you looking at the person, not trying to assist, not trying to. There are body languages that tell somebody, I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my language. I mean, really.
Yeah,
okay, I'm sorry. But there are body languages that show, I don't care. You can bleed to death right there,
Mm-hmm.
or you can be hurt. I can say something that hurts your feelings, and you know, or it wasn't an appropriate response. We are human beings. We should know how to be sensitive to other people. I'm not saying you walk around on eggshells with people, but we should feel certain things when things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to have a boss that I worked for that was very direct and nasty and rude. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody felt that way. Everybody felt that way. But he felt like he was doing, you know, this great job. But when you have your whole team on edge because we don't know how you're going to flip off that day, that's not productive. And anybody that knows anything about productivity, people work better when they're in an environment where it's relaxed, where they feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm on edge because you pop up all crazy all the time, how is it that works for your team?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Exactly.
Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? What do you say to that? Okay. Somebody got a call coming in. Kurt, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
Yeah, what's on your heart?
What's on my heart in reference to what people got to say about me?
Yes.
Man, listen, I ain't got no dog in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no dog in that fight. Because at the end of the day, that goes back to what we was talking about when you talk about people robbing you spiritually. Because talk is gossip. Gossip can be based on truth and it can be based on a lie. And for the most part, when people gossip, they talking about something they heard. They're not talking about something they know. So that means it's automatically based off of a lie.
Mm-hmm.
You buy into that lie if you want to. Go ahead. I got a bridge in Brooklyn. I can sell you for $1.15.
Mm-hmm.
You go and buy it if you want to. Man, listen, man. I have personally had to counsel young folk to this whole, I don't know, well, I know y'all remember it, but do y'all remember when this whole internet bullying thing was really big, and we even had a president? That's how he rolled. He'd troll you and internet bully you all day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had some people, man, that it's recorded, man. Some people literally took their own lives behind internet bullying, behind being bullied on the internet. There's parents out here that's fighting to get new legislation put up to stop bullying on the internet because their kids are taking their lives because a group of kids said this about them or said that about them.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Man, we have to get, I guess the way I see it is, we have to get past this point of wanting everybody to like us.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting everybody to love us. Learn to like yourself.
Come on.
Learn to love yourself. I'm reminded, my grandma one time, she told me, man, I'll never forget it, man. I had a date. And the girl stood me up. So I'm sitting around the house, man, I'm moping and, I ain't moving, sitting by the phone. My grandma used to say, hey, I said, yes, ma'am. What you doing? I said, well, I was supposed to be going to the movies and the dinner, but, you know, old girl, I ain't say her name, old girl, you know, she ain't show up, you know what I mean? My grandmother looked at me and she said, baby, how you going to expect for people to like you when you don't even like you? You don't even about you. She said, get your bags and you take yourself to the movie. You take yourself to dinner. And I'll never forget it, man. I did exactly what she told me to do. And I found some things out about myself that I never knew, like something that's simple, and we can marginalize and we can say it was simple, but it was something real for me. I found out I really, really love strawberry daiquiris. Virgin, whatever. But, you know, man, so I couldn't get like a real daiquiri. But
wrap it up for me, Kurt.
Strawberry daiquiri. So, you know, I mean, man, people gotta stop. I don't want to say people gotta stop, but let me rephrase that. I think it's time that we learn to stop putting so much weight into other people's opinions and delusions of grandeur for themselves, because it's really not a delusion of grandeur for you.
Good deal. Let me go to Dr. Cook, what's on your heart? Dr. Cook?
I was just listening to everyone. When you were basically talking about negativity, that I thought about what occurred on the job and also what occurred in the school. First, on the job, people like to basically give you negative criticism. And they basically always say that this negative criticism is helping you. It's going to basically help it up. And I truly do believe in some situations that some of the supervisors are using that negative criticism to suppress people on the job, to keep them or hinder them from promotional opportunities.
She did on point.
Hold on,
that, Doc.
Hold on, Kurt.
On that.
Go ahead, Dr. Cook.
And so, and you see it on a lot of different levels. And the thing is, so what I used to ask, well, what am I doing right? Because every time, all I hear is negativity. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. But what am I doing right? And the thing is, when it comes to doing the program review for your for the department that you're in, we always superior. But they always use that negative to basically to keep you from getting an outstanding evaluation. And they know that a lot of times those evaluations are very competitive when you're trying to get promotion. So that's always used to hinder your promotion. Now in the school system, some teachers always tell parents, your child is not doing this, your child is not doing that. And the question, some parents should always say, well, so what is my child doing right then? Because children are not always doing things wrong.
Come on.
So this negative imagery is always put out there. Now, as a teacher, I basically always talk to the child. I tell the parent, I'm going to be truthful with you because I'm a parent, and I look at your child as my child.
Get your line, everybody.
I'm going to tell them I'm going to tell them what the child is doing well in. And I'm going to also tell them what the child needs assistance in. I don't basically try to use negativity for any type of support for children. So I looked at that from both points of view, on the job and in the school system. We need to basically be careful as to talking negative, because that affects people. But that's what was on my heart at this time.
Good deal. Now, let me go back to Bishop. Bishop, what's on your heart, sir?
Well, a lot has been said, man, and the reality is the truth. And I was listening to Rico, and you know, he was telling some stuff, man, about how people are. And we can come out here and walk around with our eyes wide shut, but everybody ain't gonna like you. But granted, if everybody says this about you, it's because one person spreaded a rumor, and that rumor has grabbed legs and decided to go across the world and put that negative image in the minds of these individuals that heard that idle gospel. I never forget when I joined the church, and I was a spit dresser. I didn't go there chasing no girls. I didn't go there doing that. I was going to church. Well, the next thing I'm hearing, the rumor was that I'm a church sport. And I'm like, well, what does a church sport look like? That's the person came to me and told me. He said, yeah, everybody say you're a church sport. You only here for the women. I said, what woman did I speak to? Point out a girl in the church that I talked to and let me defend that conversation or statement. I just come here every Sunday. I sit in the church. I hear the preacher preach. I shake hands, walk to my car, and leave. Because I dress good, that makes me a church sport. I said, when a church sport, I am. Because I'm not coming here looking like who did what for, because I am GQ. So since I'm gonna dress GQ, I'm gonna look like Leonard and Rico and Raheem. Well, we'll exclude Raheem. Leonard and Rico.
Boy, that's a dirty rascal right there. Boy, that's a dirty rascal. Hey, look at it.
What?
Man, I ain't fooling with you, man. Hey, look, as a matter of fact, I'm moving on next. Donna Tucson.
I still love you, bro.
Hey, love you as well, brother. Absolutely. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, I just come back in. I'm just a lot. I'm pretty sure. But where we at with this? Y'all still talking about how vulnerable we are? Or we protected? We good? We safe?
We're talking about how what we are right now. Basically, we're talking about how a person could let somebody negative say about. We're still talking about robbing ourselves. Now we're talking about robbing ourselves and how somebody's negative opinion of you. You could rob yourself into believing and falling victim to what they're saying and let that become a part of your reality. Does that happen?
Yeah, it happens every day to some people. If I would allow what somebody said about me to affect my life, I might as well hang up the phone, don't talk to nobody no more. Don't say nothing positive, because we all have a past. And somebody's chasing your past. I don't know why we spend so much time trying to find out about other folks when we got skeletons in our own closet.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Let me say it again. I have 6 months to mind my business and 6 months to leave yours alone. I don't have no business trying to search you out. How much time have I wasted in my day trying to work out my issues? Scanning through Bishop's Facebook to see if he said something wrong. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Anyway, you'd be surprised how many people scan your Facebook page just in case you might slip and say something inappropriate.
Wow.
Or you somewhere trying to figure out where you at. People do that on a regular basis. You don't know how many fans you got, Wahid. And then some of them that you have friend or they try to friend you, they got a friend that don't want to be known, don't want it to be known that they're trying to see what's going on in your life. So they get their friend to friend you, and then they say, share his page, share his page, share his page. You ever notice that your page gets shared by people you don't know?
Yes, sir.
Or somebody comment on your page that you don't know who it is. You just know that Bishop, me, Leonard, Rico, Cassandra has commented, but then they say, and others, and 15 others. Who are them people? Where they come from?
Exactly.
And then you say, then they say, it's shared by 6 other people. Wait a minute. Who are them people? So we have to be careful about, I can't say not careful, but what you say will follow you.
We'll follow
what you've
you.
done
Absolutely.
will follow you.
Absolutely.
Somebody will keep it going for years. And you barely got past that. So I don't have time for that. I don't worry about it.
There you go. Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
See, I know what Dr. Cook said, because I agree with her wholeheartedly, that we do have to be somewhat aware of what people say about us, because sometimes it's constructive criticism, and we need to hear it. You know, you have, say for instance, you are responsible for marketing at a company, but all of a sudden, the marketing ain't working. Sales ain't picking up, you know what I'm saying? But you know what type of products you got. You may be marketing the wrong way, and sometimes people might be telling you, well, you know what, yeah, even though he's the man in the job, man, he ain't doing the job right. But see, I don't want to hear that, because I got this degree. I got this on my resume. I earned this position. But then see, you ain't connecting with the right audience. See, you new to this company, and this audience is in this direction, so you need to go in this. I don't want to hear it. You ain't got the job, I got the job. So now you don't want to hear no constructive criticism. They being negative. Everybody trying to be negative. You know, you hear that sometimes. People will call things negative sometimes when really truly just concerned. You know, maybe it's just an opinion on maybe something that can go different. So, yeah, we have got to listen to what people say, depending on how it impacts us. Depending on how it impacts us. You may not get that job promotion because word traveling around in those circles behind your back is that you this or that. I remember one time I got this white guy some work, and it was a project he was gonna make like $40,000 off of. Now, I didn't want nothing out of it. You know what I'm saying? I just, knew that he did the type of work, and so I hooked him up. I was like, hey man, I know somebody need to get their whole house remodeled, plumbing and everything. You almost have to rebuild a house. He appreciated it so much, he told me he wanted me to help him. If you just come out there and help me, man, I'll give you a little bit. I was like, man, you ain't got to do that. Well, I'm going to give you something. No, you ain't got to do that. I said, I'll come out there and help you, though. Then somebody found out about the type of money this man was going to make, and that he wanted me to help him, and they went back and told that white man that I was racist. I didn't like white people. Every time you turn around, all you heard me hearing was saying, well, huck that, cracker this, huck that, cracker that. Lying. I was sleeping with a white woman at the time. So, I mean, I was like, good. And so when this man came back around and I noticed he was ignoring me and he didn't act like he appreciated what I hooked him up with, I didn't even care about giving the work because I had my own money. It was just the fact that at one minute, he was acting very kind and appreciative, and now he act like I stank.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure it out. This man's son, it was a family member, salted my name up so he could go out there and work with the man, and then he ended up trying to wiggle the man out of the job all the way around. But the man failed to it. Man, it didn't bother me, but had that been something I was depending on, I'd have been screwed.
Yeah.
I would have been screwed. So therefore, you do have to worry sometimes about the things and the perceptions that people put out there about you, because this is a dog-eat-dog world. And in this world we live in, if you aren't aware that you just can't walk around here with your nose in the air talking about me, I'm positive, I'm better than everybody, and I ain't worried about nothing. Man, listen, people will plot and sabotage on you and use that as a vulnerability.
Yep.
They'll use that. You know what? He's stuck on himself. She don't like to listen to nobody. She thinks she all that. And then they could take those traits and associate them with a negative behavior and pin that lie on you. And before you know it, girl, get what I heard. He be up there hitting on all the women at the job. They say he a woman. Well, I mean, while we being transparent, we had the situation happen on this radio station. Somebody ran around and told lies on everybody. Told lies on me. I was supposed to be Ike Turner.
Wow.
Toya this and that, you nasty and mean, and you cuss people out and fake on the radio. I mean, you actually try to cause a lot of division.
Yeah.
caused division between men and activists. And so that was very important. I don't say it was important what she did, but that was huge. The impact that she had, dividing and separating people, coming in between everybody just so she could have her control and her manipulation. It cost the day before yesterday, don't get me wrong, to a certain extent. But, you know, and it didn't bother me, but at the same time, it did bother me that some of the people on the radio show, they come on the show, didn't want to reach out to me at first because they thought I like to beat women.
Yep. Put the negative, put the fake, how you say, a false negative out there, putting the false negative out there. Bishop, what's on your heart? Bishop, I just left you, Bishop. Let me go to Kurt. I ain't talking to Kurt in a minute. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I heard Rick. You know what I'm saying? I really did. But I done been that one that's I'm an entertainer. So like for real, like being honest, bro, I don't even read reviews. I might not read, if I do a show tonight, I might not read the review until next year. Because, and especially if I'm doing a show and it's got like a runtime, like it's running like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I done seen where that review just completely dismantled a really, really good, solid professional actor. Just been dismantled because he's so busy reading the reviews. Now he's trying to satisfy the reviewer as opposed to, hey, how you doing? Morning. All right. As opposed to doing what he needs to do. Hey, Raheem, go to somebody else. Let me take care of something real quick.
Leonard, talk to me, brother.
I think it's becoming, more clear. I focus on desired outcomes. And what that means is that, one, there's a certain way I would like for things to turn out. So I try to drive all my behavior and everything that way. I walk a very narrow path when it comes to certain things. And it's for that reason, because I know that 7 times out of 10, everyone else is going to follow a certain type of agenda. It's going to always be that small percentage that is not. And I'm usually in that small percentage when it comes to a lot of things. So I have always been on the side. I don't mind being different. I don't mind being alone. I don't mind, how you feel about me not believing things a certain way. And I don't get offended by those things or anything like that. And it is because of the practice of living from the inside out. I could never, I know in corporate American things, a lot of things happen that were just, to me, that were just horrible. But one thing that I could control is myself.
Yes.
And if I've been in boardrooms and things like that, and I, express this concern, you have to think about it from this way. The only thing I can be sure about here today is myself. I can't be sure about you or anything else, but I can be sure about myself. So that's how I go into certain situations. And when I see others playing games or whatever, and I laugh, or I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine him saying that to me. Or someone will say, such and such was hollering at me. I said, because you let them. I don't know the type of relationship that you may have with that person, but they don't talk to me like that. Or, people who once they became supervisors started treating people differently.
Wow, yeah.
And things of that nature. I remember I was a manager, but it was well known that he ain't like other managers. Because that don't mean that we automatically enemies because I'm a manager. I mean, you take this whole bias you have towards management and apply it to me, and it doesn't fit. Trust me, when I'm sitting with them, there's a lot of things that they do that don't fit, because now it's us, them.
Yeah.
A lot of folks deal with that. Part of critical race theory is that us and them. That's separation. That's always an antagonist for division. So that's the way I look at that. And so I operate against that.
Mhm.
I've been
Wow.
put out of therapy because of too much confidence, because it didn't go with a group therapy setting. And someone's bias, the leader of this group, bias towards me because I had participated in a particular exercise, brought forth the fact that, one, a lot of my confidence come from very strong women. So I speak from the position of strong women, not weak women, but strong women. Women who never got in this ever thought they were less than men. So the other didn't fit into the other person's quote narrative. So it was best that wouldn't be the best therapeutic situation for me.
That's good.
Everyone is always going to be trying to deal like with a person like me. It's always been, like my wife would say, you can be intimidating. I don't even understand that because I'm never trying to do it. So just me, I've been black for a minute. So when people sitting in front of me or whatever, and they got all these thoughts in their head and they say I'm intimidating, I'm laughing. Because I'm not even trying to intimidate you, but you feel intimidated. That's your feeling, not mine.
Exactly. Let me watch this. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra? Cassandra, wake up and go to sleep. Dr. Cook, what's on your heart?
I was just listening to, I believe it was the bishop speaking.
Leonard?
I don't know. Was that the bishop speaking?
No, that was Leonard. He might be a bishop
Leonard,
too, though.
Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why people always say that they feel intimidated by people, especially black. I just don't understand that. And the thing is, they're the ones that is trying to intimidate you.
Yep.
But the thing is, you basically got a backbone, and you don't allow that intimidation to seep in. So when others are trying to intimidate you, and they see that you're not being affected by it, or they basically feel that we are intimidating them because we are not accepting and we're defeating what they're trying to give off. So that happens quite often, and also probably with the police. A lot of them feel fear, and they basically feel that they have the power to react because they feel that we're fearing them. I guess with black males and some possibly with black females, we're intimidating them or we're putting out some type of fear. We've had enough. And we know how to stand up, and we have a backbone, and they basically use that in a negative manner. People are tired of basically taking crap from other people.
Come on.
And the negative energy they're trying to put off. And the thing is, it scares them when their negative energy is not affecting you.
Exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother. We got a whole minute before we get out of here. What's on your heart?
Well, Lily hit it on the head, and then she came right back and knocked it on out the park,
Yes,
man,
sir.
because I go through that same thing. White people tell me that I'm intimidating, and then black people tell me I'm intimidating too. And it's because, sometimes I'm so no nonsense. I got a sense of humor out this world, but I'm just not going to walk around acting like a comedian. But see, they expect to see that passive, giggling and smiling black man. That makes them feel comfortable because we seem like that happy slave. I hate to say it that way, but subconsciously that's what it is.
That's what it is.
And so, when I think about the black people down there intimidated by me, you know who it is? It's the ones that like to shuck and jive. The shuck and jive are intimidated by me because they know, oh, here come Rico with that. He always being like, they don't think you have a sense of humor. Oh, you always being serious. So if you're always being serious, you sort of intimidate people all the time because when they get out of hand with being silly, you might reel them back in. Wait a minute, this ain't the time for that. Oh man, you ruining the fun. You ruining the good old time. So that's when I started realizing, okay, the chefs and drivers are intimidated by me. Then with the white people, well, I saw the ones that they liked was the ones that like to sit back and kick out, laugh and just skinning and grinning in their face all the time. Knee slap. You so funny. I ain't racist. I just believe in everybody getting along. And I'm just sitting back working and looking like, man, it ain't my place to make you feel like I'm racist or not. What you better do is prove to me that you're not racist. And I ain't gonna get close to you enough so you don't get comfortable enough to start cracking black jokes. Cause that's what happened. You know, I had a joke I heard one time. Black man, white man, Chinese man. Black man always end up on the bottom of them jokes. I wish you would. So yeah, I'm focused. I'm at work. I ain't here to play. I ain't Richard Pryor. And I ain't paying to see Dick, what you call him, Johnny Carson. I ain't paid to see him.
Exactly.
I'm up in here to work and I ain't getting to listen to no black joke. But they will get intimidated when you see that you are unapproachable for their game. So maybe it's not that you're being mean. Maybe it's just the fact that you're focused. It's good to stay strong and positive. Work through all the negativity, all the lies that people tell on you. With the situation that I brought up with going on the radio station, with me supposed to be in an Ike Turner. Well, that person that was told to stay away from me, they found out the real me, because one thing I was sincere about who I was. I'm genuine. So you still remain genuine. You a lot of times the things and the words that people put out there about you won't stand ground. Sometimes they will. Some people suffer the worst consequences possible because of lies that people put on them. But for the most part, if you stay focused and if you are sincere and genuine about who you are, regardless of what they say, you're going to prove everybody wrong sooner or later.
Now, Rico, I said I had a minute, man. You don't talk 15 minutes.
Well, I had to make up for the other 10 that other people were talking all of this.
So you're trying to make a fill in the gap? Let me see.
Yeah, I had to get a little gap and fill in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Then you got started late in the morning, too. You supposed to start at 6, so I said you really owe us about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. But I better pay my bill then. Bishop, what's on your heart? Bishop, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Bishop, you there? I thought I heard Bishop fiddling around. He must have some issues with his line there. Let me see who else. Who we got? Let me see who we got left here. Look at my list. Checking it twice. We're gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Cassandra, I think we lost Cassandra. Cassandra, you with us? I see Leonard right there. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Well, of course, you've went to the naughty side of the list.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Had to.
I just want to thank Dr. Cook for bringing that out, because that's what's important. And that's what I wanted people to understand about the situation. If you don't defend you, who will?
Yeah.
Who do you expect? Or are you waiting for a hero?
Come on.
You know, so many people, like you say, are torturing themselves because of wanting somebody else to like them. And it's you know, I really try to help people to understand that, man, you got value. You know, Black Lives Matter was great. But if you didn't understand that before that, you got a long way to go. Because you may have internalized some things that are really destroying you from the inside out. And if you adopt someone else's point of view, you're going to find yourself at odds with a lot of different situations. I mean, you know, I want to say thanks for the show. And if you did not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety, log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3 o'clock Eastern today.
Good deal. Donald Toussaint, you still with us? Donald Toussaint. Okay, I'm trying to do my roll call. See, then I switched up on my little thing here. Who all we got left on the phone line? We got Rico. Who else we got?
Dr. Cook.
Get along with everybody, man. You might as well going to break that crowd.
Yep. Rico and Dr. Cook. Yeah, we don't long. Everybody knew it was right at 10 o'clock. We actually a little bit past 10 o'clock, and so they got on up out of here. So, Dr. Cook, let me get you the prayers out today, if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right.
Father God, this is it. This is your day. Thank you for this day, God. Thank you for this broadcast that you have for us to fellowship, to learn from one another, share information. God, I pray that this network is used to uplift you and your people. I thank you for all of the information that was gathered here today, Father, that someone would be able to use this and go out and help someone else. Glorify you by helping your children. I thank everyone on this broadcast today. God bless them. Keep them under your care. Cover them, Father. Protect them from all hurt, harm, or danger in thy name. And use everyone for your glory. Allow their gifts to be used to glorify you in thy name, Father. Thank you in thy name, Jesus, that everything is done for you. Thank you for this day once again, Father. In thy name, amen.
Amen. I was I gotta tell y'all a secret, man. And let hush, Leonard. Don't you say nothing. But I was scared to stand up. You know, most of the time when we pray, I always stand up. I always stand to my feet when we pray. And I was scared to stand up today because I got my shirt on, but I got on some shorts. I got some shorts on. Man. Hold on, I need to stand up today. Now they might hold on. Let me position myself when I get from home. I got shorts on. I said I might not.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, hey Rico, I said I might not need to stand up today. I might need to sit down, but you know it'll be a little.
Boy, that would have made my Friday. I'd have dogged you. I'd have sent you text messages all day.
What were you worried about? Were you worried about putting off the wrong image? Or?
Yeah, probably so, brother. Because like I said, if I was still with these shorts I got on right here, man, it would have been. It would.
They probably boxers.
Wait, so what they to see? Man, you know short we got on, man. We got some jam.
Yeah, exactly. What is
Hey, Rico told his age. Rico said jams.
Yeah, I heard him just now.
When was the last time you heard that word?
Exactly. Look, hey, I was ready to get them when they say them jams are jams. Oh, Lord, wait a minute.
Hey, but that still ain't falling back to no pants on hand on. You know y'all wrong for that, boy. Y'all had me going looking for that picture, man.
Did you see it, man? Did you see it?
Man. He said 1978, but that was every bit of
I don't know what the world Donald was thinking, boy. He leaned up against that tree. I thought we were back in the 70s.
Man, I love that pose, man.
Well, look. He did that there though. He definitely.
That's that Jet magazine pose right there, man. Yeah. Stop.
Classic. Yeah,
classic.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's what it is. Listen, we're about to get out of here, man. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank you for joining this 10:10. We're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That way, shine some of this light in you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great weekend. Take care of each other. And each and every one of you, be blessed.